Hello. About 10 years ago, when I started my coaching process or coaching practice, I developed a process called the Leadership Matrix. It was based on really, at that point, two great books, Good to Great and Rockefeller Habits. Over the years, though, things have evolved and changed. But really in 2019, I read four books that really changed my concept and changed my thought process about how to better execute, follow up, and execute on a plan. The leadership matrix is really put in place to help a business owner build a plan for their business. But the last three steps of the process are all about follow up and execution, which was then and still is today, I think, the biggest hurdle and the biggest problem and issue a small business owner has, or even a large business has, is to execute the plan. So I also learned that language was very important in coaching and in building and executing a plan. So I put together a series of short 4 to 5 minute presentations to talk about how I'm changing radically really the way that we go about coaching and the language we use in follow up and executing the plans that we put together. I built my coaching practice on, four really good books. Good to Great, which was written maybe 20 years ago, Rockefeller Habits and Scaling Up, Traction, and then Turn the Ship Around, which was written in probably about 2017. But in 2019 and early 2020, I read four books: Clockwork, Business is an Infinite Game, Propeller, and the last one, Leadership is Language, was written by the same individual that wrote Turn the Ship Around. But it made me understand that there's a better way to execute, there's a better way to coach, and that's what I'm implementing in this new leadership matrix process. I talked about language being vital to execution and coaching and leading an organization. These are the language that has really remained vital over all these years: vision, SMART goals, specific, measurable, accountable, realistic, in a time frame; rocks, values, engaged and empowered; the 2 second lean program and cutting waste; weekly huddles and dashboards; weekly coaching conversations and scorecards to ensure follow up and communication and clarity; and then coaching instead of managing. A few more: clarity, of course, clarity and communication. Having the right people doing the right things right is the core of everything that we do. Labor productivity and labor efficiency ratio. Accountability, of course. Follow up and execution, of course. Virtual bench, essentialism, and self limiting beliefs that hold us back are all language that we're still, I think, still remain very vital and are still built into the process that we're going to talk about. The new language in 2020 is mission, characteristics of a team. Instead of just relying on values, really understand what our mission is, what our just cause is, what our purpose is. It's spelled out in action verbs that are going to take our mission to our employees and to our customers, as well as what are the characteristics of the team that's going to be able to deliver that mission. Key results. We've always talked about SMART goals, but we've had a lot of them. And the new language is key results. Three, maybe four is all, with a goal for each one of them. Fewer, essentialism, right? Fewer but better, and clear so that everybody in the organization knows what they are and can explain how we measure them. Accountability for results. We've always talked about that, but that's the key going forward to follow up and execution. To delegate decision making, not to delegate uh, jobs or tasks, but actually start delegating the decision making down to our employees. Working above the line versus below the line, what that means, and we're going to talk about it a lot. Constantly being owners versus victims, and see it, own it, solve it, and do it. That's the mantra. The questions behind that are behind all the coaching that we're going to talk about. We want people to see what the issue is, the problem, or the opportunity, to own it, to solve it, and then to do it. It's taking don't answer questions a whole, you know, inflection point higher on the scale of how we're going to coach people. All the great coaches in the world talk about the process, and that's what this is. This is a process to follow up and execute. And it still starts with the right people doing the right things right, clarity with a vision, mission, key results, actions and rocks, team characteristics and values, a focus, engagement, empowerment, decision making. We've added that decision making in there. Right things, accountable for results, not just being accountable for being busy. Done right, the 2-second lean process. Execute, rhythm, and I've added language. We got to start using the right language and the right tools to be able to follow up and execute, because execution is the key to everything. Still have weekly huddles and coaching conversations, scorecards and dashboards, and then morning huddles, cutting waste all the time and redoing processes, continually improving processes. So that's taking the new language and implementing it into the 9-step process for leading an organization and ensuring execution, follow up and execution of what we're trying to do to build a team that can work for us versus relying on us to make it work.